Video game bang, video game bang, video game bang. Video game. Mega brand. Live from the sack, it's the livest. In fact, I'm putting rhymes on this track to put my guys on the map. Cause they giving you the latest on everything on your playlist. This bet the safest, from basements to greatness. Updates, geek news, tech talk, and reviews. They can summarize it so you ain't gotta breeze through. Listen once and you're forever fans. And I'm not saying it because their theme song features Mega Ram. Might think you fly, but ain't nice as my guys. Got eyes on the prize, so like and subscribe. We back in the booth. I think that they gon' eat this up. The ultimate source of all geek media. Other podcasts, they just don't match up. Need proof? You can check the archives and catch up. Stats off the chain, we have rearranged the game. It'll never be the same. Now it's time to feel the
bang. What is up, my pizzas? Cory, Vincent here. Video game bang is back, albeit a little bit late, but we are worth the wait. Thank you guys so much for spending your evening with us. It is a beautiful Friday night in Sacramento, California. I was working, gonna be honest. I'm married to the grind. Oh, look at that. What was that? Was it someone? Look at those. Galen Gamer, one of my favorite YouTube editors and content creators, just dropped some biddies in the chat. Lost Sheep holding it down for us. Look at that. 400 people in stream waiting for us, listening to lo-fi beats, getting ready because they knew there was a return. This is like the Royal Rumble when there's a shocking return. And he's in studio with us. If you're watching live on twitch.tv, you can see his face right now across from me in real life. He is not dead. Counter to video game bang lore and conspiracy theories. David Webb, welcome back to the VGB studio. How you doing, man?
What's up?
You got your vaccine, right? You're vaccinated?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I should have asked that before we were live.
That's what was on the NDA that I signed.
Yeah.
The waiver. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's weird being back in the studio. It's weird being back on the show, but being back in the studio and back on the show. It's a whole mix.
Two things. You'd already retired. You'd removed us from your Twitter bio, which made me very, very sad.
I don't think I removed you guys. I said former.
Betrayal.
Yeah,
former host.
Yeah, that's even more.
I felt bad saying host still on it. Like, I'm not on it anymore.
This is the house David Webb made. What are you talking about?
I'll delete former. I'll do it right now.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me go and delete it.
Glad to have you back. Me and David, this has been in the making for weeks. We knew we were going to be hanging out at the studio. Because COVID's, let's be honest, it's over, guys. Go ahead. Throw your masks away. Don't worry.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's all good. It's over. So, David came over to hang out. We socially distanced. We're still socially distanced. This table's 6 feet long.
6 feet long, and we have monitors in between us. Everybody knows COVID can't go through electronics.
Exactly.
So we got so many shields up right now.
Dr. Fauci said
we're good. Yeah. So I tweeted him.
We're good. And then, it's good to see you. Have some FaceTime with my bro. It's been a long time. But we got a show to do, and we're going to get all into it. Also joining us on the show is our man with the plan, looking very dapper with his hashtag Ride the Wave sweatshirt, Kyle the Winner. What you doing, man? How you been?
I've been good, man. I've been on the grind in 3 different ways at the same time, so I'm busy as hell. Not doing too much fun stuff. Not too many games to be played. Working on games a lot still, and figuring out what other games I'm going to be working on in the future. So we're in that process. But yeah,
you know what? It's fascinating what you've been doing. I think we talked about it on the show once, but Kyle the Winner is such a student of the musical game. He has started going through the top 100. Is it Rolling Stone albums?
It's 500. Top 500 albums of all time, according to Rolling Stone magazine.
And he's been live tweeting his responses and thoughts to them. And you're up to 100 something. You've been really grinding through this thing.
I'm up to 54 right now, but still 54 albums in a month or two that's a lot, dude. Especially because there's some ones I'm I can see who might be into that.
Who's the most overrated band that you've listened to so far?
Oh, I did not like the Velvet Underground, bro.
Okay.
I did not like them. I listened to them. I'm I don't smoke enough cigarettes to like this. I don't own enough.
I don't
Wow.
chain smoke.
Okay, and then who's the shocker? Who surprised you? Where you're like, okay, I like this way more than I thought I originally did.
But I never really gave Bowie too much of a chance. Not because I didn't like him, but like I didn't really vibe with him too much. But like Bowie, and then the Clash. London
Okay.
Calling was always a bit of a nice sleeper pick that kind of just came out of nowhere for me.
Now, also joining us on the show is the coolest person I know, and he just keeps topping himself with coolness. I messaged him the other day, like a loser, and I said, "You want to play some Fortnite with me?" And he's like, "No, bro, I'm gonna play the bongos right now." Like, who do you know in your life that plays the bongos and does it probably extremely well? Like, that is just a dope thing to say. Nah, I can't play Fortnite. I'm playing the bongos. You know who I'm getting to. Skip and Tosh, Curtis, the man, the myth, the legend. How you been?
I've been good, man, because draft day is coming up for the NBA 2K League. My boy Worthing Colt, who was on the Kings Guard and then wasn't on the Kings Guard anymore, is coming back into the NBA 2K League. So I'm very excited about that. It's funny you bring up that joke because I'm in another Discord and they got a video game thing in there. And then someone was talking about like someone said like Valheim's been sucking up all my time. And then someone came behind him and said Cyberpunk 2077 does that for me. And then someone came behind them and said some other game does that for them, and I was like, yeah, women do that for me. And everybody's like, ooh,
Getting it.
And I'm like, burn.
So tell me about the bongos, because I'm interested as a percussionist myself. I've never owned a pair of bongos. I've only like played the bongos once, and it was because I was at a church and they were like, "Hey, the bongo guy didn't show up, and you're a drummer. It's the same thing, right?" And so I was like, "Yeah, it's the exact same thing." And I went up and had no idea what I was doing, and ended up having blisters, popping blood vessels. It was not a fun time for me. But tell me about the bongos, man. How long have you been doing this? So it's another secret talent that you have that you've not shared with everybody.
First of all, what kind of weed smoking hippie church was you going to where they're playing the bongos? First of all, second of all, man, you know what I'm saying? You got rhythm. All you got to do is, you know where it is similar to drumming in a sense, or like a snare, right? Or even like a tom, or even like cymbals. Pretty much almost all parts of the drum except for the kick. Unless you're on that one group, Mute Math, where they like take the kick off and like use it all crazy.
Oh man,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mute Math is crazy.
You know.
That's the dude where the drummer like has to tape his headphones to his head so they don't fly off because he's so nuts, right?
I have that same problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, Webb knows. But man, you just you know where to hit it to get the sound that you want. And then past that, you know what I'm saying? You just close your eyes and let the power of the bongos take over.
Let the rhythm take control. Music make me lose control.
What's that one thing I played when we did that? We did that David Bowie cover.
You were on the cajon.
Cajon.
Yeah, that was rough.
That was rough.
That was pretty rough. I think we just talked about that like a week ago.
I think you went back and found it.
I don't.
Yeah, well,
did we find it? I don't know. We got to find it again. But we did a live version of David Bowie's Space Oddity.
what was that for? It was for something. Oh,
Just for the hell of it, I think.
No, it was the web around. The web. Yeah.
That's right. It was a sponsored thing.
Yeah, it was a sponsor, and we didn't tell Emma about it because she would have left. So we locked the doors and started playing music.
Forced her to listen to our David Bowie cover. That was actually pretty good. So let's get into the show, if we will. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We're gonna get into some news, but let's start with the WandaVision stuff because I feel like David Webb. We referred to his tweets directly last week as being pretty terrible, but we want to give him a chance to defend himself because it didn't sound like you were really feeling the finale of WandaVision, and now we had the last episode, so I want to know, where are you coming from, my guy?
So the finale I was okay with. I think the tweet that you saw was for the episode before the finale.
Yeah.
And that one I was lukewarm about. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like a filler episode to me. It seemed like a lot of stuff that we kind of knew. I mean, we saw insight into why we're getting a sitcom theme, why she's like projecting sitcoms.
Yeah.
So we saw that. For me, the biggest thing was we had Scarlet Witch was actually like named. You know what I mean? Now Fox is part of Disney, so now they could actually say mutant names. So they said Scarlet Witch, and then we saw White Vision at the end. But overall, it kind of was just kind of. Well, there was one more thing that happened. Then we got Photon. She got her powers, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was that episode. But I think overall, it was just like a flashback episode. And flashback episodes, it doesn't matter what show, it just kind of sometimes annoy me because it's already stuff that we already know. So
See,
it just seemed.
I think your logic is flawed, my friend, and allow us to correct you.
Yeah,
because
tell me why I'm wrong.
you were also talking about in the pre-show, which lasted 8 hours, and I apologize, but it was because you said you do have no interest in Black Widow movie because you know she ends up dying in the Infinity Wars or whatever. What are the Avengers?
Endgame. Yeah.
Thank you.
Spoilers, by the way. If you haven't seen it yet.
Everybody on the planet has seen that movie.
We gotta see it, because
Nope.
otherwise someone's gonna be upset.
Snooper's gonna snoop.
Snoop's gonna snoop.
But
Actually, I take that back. That was the only other thing that I liked about that episode was Snoop's gonna snoop.
the memes. Snoop's gonna snoop. But you don't like. You have no interest in the Black Widow movie because you know how the ending's gonna go. But come on, man. You should know more than anybody that it's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
And I agree. And I want to say I don't have zero interest. I'm just not as excited as I am about other Marvel movies. But here's the thing is I get that it's about the journey, not the destination. But I would like to see more of the journey before I already know what the destination is.
What?
Like, okay, so if we got a Widow movie before Endgame, I would have been all over it. I would have been more all over it if we got a Widow movie that had Hawkeye in it and we knew what happened in Budapest. I've been way more excited about that. But I'd take this one. But we know that I don't know, I'm just not as excited.
Skip, you seem to have a counterpoint to this early in the show, and I'll allow you to please enlighten David Webb here. Give him your best. Give him true Skip right here. If you're around,
Everybody dies.
everybody dies.
I'm gonna say the same
All of
thing.
us.
You can't get so existential. You can't bring logic into this conversation.
like Cap gonna die. Like everybody's gonna die. Like that's the end of everybody's story. But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Like that. But that's just the end. You know, like Cory was talking about the destination. That's just the end of the story. Like if the story was just beginning and end and there was nothing in the middle, then that's a pretty boring story, you know. But what I do appreciate is that there are going to be what I saw. I'm going off the trailers and then also a little bit of what I believe we'll see. But especially just off the trailers alone, like Taskmaster's in it. He's one of my favorite Marvel villains that I really enjoy what Taskmaster is probably going to bring to the table. Like seeing her like amongst the family and them going deeper into like the whole Widow school and that whole lore, because we never really dug into that. I'm stoked for that point. And again, I'm not one of those people where I say what I say and then I expect people's mind to be changed. Your mind can stay where it's at, but I just like to expand people's minds, because in the day and age that we live in, people are so we consume so much content. We've never had this many shows that are at such a high quality that you got to watch this and you got to watch that. And people are like, I don't have time to watch all these shows. I've literally given up. I just accepted the fact I'm not going to consume half or even a quarter or even a third or even a tenth of this quality, juicy content that's coming out. But what I do appreciate is no matter what it is, it's, like along the way, I just want us to not be so plot point driven. So just give me the cliff notes and all that stuff, because if that's all the media that we were consuming was, and we didn't have those character moments where they said that line and we didn't have Snoopers gonna snoop. Imagine if we didn't have Snoopers gonna snoop.
It'd be a sad
what would
world.
go viral if we didn't have those little tiny moments in between that pull us into these characters and the investments that we make in them. And their families, and seeing them progress and grow over 24 Marvel movies and all of that. So just to everybody, just remember, the journey is the most important part. The time that we spend and invest is precious. And don't overlook these fantastic stories that all these storytellers are putting out for us just because, the twist wasn't good enough or this or that. Just sit back, put your seatbelt on, enjoy the ride.
Here's the other thing too. Like, when has Marvel really betrayed our trust or let us down yet? I mean, actually, I was going to get to it in a second because there was a moment in WandaVision that really kind of upset me. But I mean, overall, as far as the movies go, they do such a good job. And whether, Natasha is gone, who knows, maybe Taskmaster this is a launching pad for him, or some of the other characters that are going to be in this show that are going to get a rub that are going to be relevant now because we're going to see their backstories in the future Marvel stuff. So, although I'll agree with you, on paper, a Black Widow movie is not as thrilling coming off of, of Avengers Endgame and even WandaVision, but still, like,
I mean, I'm still gonna watch it.
Trust in Marvel.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. So let's talk about WandaVision. And there's people poking a lot of holes in it. This last finale gave us so much like cool shit. It gave us the ship of Theseus, which is probably like the dopest moment.
I use that analogy on a weekly basis, and I want to say I knew about it beforehand. I use it all the time, but that's like I'm glad they brought that. I love that analogy for so many things.
Explain it for us then, because even it left me scratching my head, and I had to go look it up afterwards and stuff. So give us the breakdown, because what we got is the new, weaponized version of Vision enters the WandaVision bubble and starts fighting the Vision we know. And there's this amazing moment where they start using logic and start talking to each other. And he says, "What did he say? I require more feedback or something."
Elaboration.
Yeah, I require elaboration. And so he says, "Are you familiar with the ship of Theseus?" And they go off on this whole thing. Explain it to us.
So it's basically the concept that if you build a ship and then eventually as it gets old, you replace it board by board until there's not a single original board left, is it still the same ship? And so it's kind of a similar thing with Vision, right? Because you have the, I guess, like orange and green Vision, right? The one that we had been knowing for most of the show. Well, we know he's kind of just a figment or a thing that just was materialized into the world. Not
it was
like
Wanda's vision.
Wanda's vision. Yeah.
Wanda's vision, yeah. And then there's the sword Vision, but he's like made of more physical pieces, but still not the same internal bit. And it's like there's stuff missing, and so there's the question of like, okay, well, there's two Visions. Neither of them are really the correct Vision. They're not the original one. But which one is more Vision? Which Vision is the true Vision?
Because you have the mind of Vision, which is what Wanda projected, and then you have the actual physical body of Vision, which is what Sword pieced back together, and then uploaded their own technology into.
This is all crazy, dude. Because you can sell your tweets now. You ever see that shit? Sorry. Not trying to derail too much, but
I'm enjoying the derailing. Let's go.
But what the hell is technology? Like, you can sell your tweets now, and I don't fully understand that. I just don't. I'm old. I think this is how I know I'm old, because I just don't understand anything anymore. All this shit's too confusing.
I feel like I feel like if selling tweets blows your mind, or like that gets you feeling like a boomer, what about this whole NFT thing where you can create content that is like has an expiration date and then it just becomes nothing after that? And it's weird.
I've had too much beer for that.
We're getting into some weird stuff now. I feel like we're getting really culty.
And then when you sell your tweets, they could turn into Bitcoins? Like, I just don't understand it.
You can sell your internet words into internet money, and then
a Doge will eat
those on internet things.
And then people are making money off this? I don't get it, man.
So you had me understanding when you said you could sell tweets. So the way I look at it is like you're selling your tweet in the sense of you're selling ad space. So I can have Nike come to me and be like, "Hey, your WandaVision tweet was on point. We agree with you. So we want to pay you to tweet about Nike." And then you're selling your tweet. So that makes sense. So you're buying ad space. You're buying a billboard. You're buying a tweet.
I'm talking about you're buying old tweets. Like I tweeted a year ago, I ate McDonald's for breakfast.
Oh, no, I bought that. So I tweeted that.
Yeah. That was you? Holy shit!
Okay, but here's the thing, though. If
You're Special Guy 69?
So if you take a tweet and you eventually replace the words in the tweet, is it still the same tweet? Is it still the original tweet?
Well, it's weird because I could delete it or whatever, but you technically own... Yeah. I don't know, man. We're getting into some shit, and it all ties into WandaVision. It's all Marvel.
It's all tied. It's all created by Wanda.
Marvel created the whole damn thing.
Summoned NFTs and sellable tweets.
What was the... Okay, so what was the general consensus about... Now, WandaVision has come and gone. I think a lot of fan theories had it tying into like a major villain like Mephisto, and
I saw a lot of
big,
that.
and I think a lot of people got their hopes up, so people were disappointed in a way, but it still gave us a lot. Let's just go round robin real quick and say, do you think this show delivered? And I want to save Skip for last because I know his is going to be the best. So, Kyle, you came into this knowing you were a neophyte, and you got to take this ride. You were a little disappointed that it left the sitcom motif, but now that you've seen the whole thing, top to bottom, soup to nuts, what do you think?
I thought it was kind of a meme when they're like, "You are the Scarlet Witch." I'm like, "That's what? Like, is that a thing? Are we? Is that a? Am I supposed to? Oh, we're clapping. Okay, cool." Like, it just that seems so awkward to me. That like, oh yeah, Wanda Scarlet Witch. So like, oh okay, cool. Like that's what it has been for like 5-6 years. Is like, okay, she's the Scarlet Witch. Cool. But like, they had never mentioned it, I guess, and so now that they're like mentioning it and people were supposed to lose their minds. I do find it funny how y'all totally called like how it went and how what's her name ended up being Agatha Harkness and that was like Agatha. The route that they took. Like that was a good call, but I still found it to be, I don't know, I felt like it felt rushed almost, which was weird to say because like
they had 10 hours practically to tell the story.
Yeah, but like I don't know. It felt awkward with how they introduced the antagonist, and that felt a bit weird to me. I had mentioned it before. Like I kind of liked it being a sitcom. I was fine with them moving the sitcom forward in years and kind of exploring those. And I don't know, like as soon as they started getting into like being like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of vibe TV show, I'm like, I don't really, it's just kind of like, it's just like another Marvel movie put in a TV show, and I don't care about the characters that much. And so it felt
all right,
like
so moving on to David Webb, I think we pretty much heard all we needed to hear from you. Wow. Do we have to pay severance for kicking people off the show?
Let me check the bylaws.
We'll have to check with the VGB lawyers on that one. David Webb, what did you think? Because we didn't get your thoughts like from top to bottom.
From top to bottom.
So just give us your kind of just overall summary of the series.
Overall, I really enjoyed it. I really liked the show. I liked the whole motif that they did. It kept me on my toes. I wasn't sure where they were going with it. I wasn't sure, it kind of was a twist when I figured out like, oh, Wanda didn't really even she meant to do it, but kind of didn't mean to do it to the extent that she did. And it kind of got out of hand. Like that was cool. I really liked the House of M vibe that it gave off. And, this whole world that she built and stuff. I liked the finale. I thought it was interesting, the twist that they did. I got confused. We talked a little bit about it in the.
So it seems like it made you feel a bunch of stuff. It confused you. You loved it.
I'm in a glass
case of emotions. You were disappointed by it. Yeah. Whoa.
So I was a little confused at the whole vision part where I thought that the Wanda's vision basically uploaded himself into the White Vision, and then the White Vision took off, and then the next time we see Vision, he landed with the kids, and I was like, oh snap, Vision's back, here we go. And then they said their goodbye, and the whole time I was like, wait, no, this can't be goodbye, like he's gonna be there when the whole thing dissolves. And then he wasn't, and I was confused. I was disappointed that we weren't getting a mix of universes with fake Pietro.
Yeah.
I was a little bummed about that. But what I was most intrigued about, and it didn't really dawn on me a whole lot until I read articles after the fact. But when we look at, I think it's the final mid-credit scene where we see Wanda in a cabin, right? And she's like drinking coffee and stuff. but she's not really drinking coffee. She's actually astro projecting herself, and she's reading the Darkhold, right?
Yeah.
So I saw these, of course, Marvel fans are crazy, and they're going to sit there and they're going to analyze everything. And they were pointing out the fact that if you compare that to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange would astro project and he would study while he was sleeping, but he had to do it only when he was unconscious, when he was sleeping. He couldn't just sit there and be doing something else and then be astro projecting and studying. So that in itself is showing how powerful Wanda is and how she's progressed to the point to where the Scarlet Witch is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme, and she's already at that point. So it really opens the door for what, when a local DJ Nocturnal here in Sacramento, he had tweeted this out, and when I saw the finale, I thought of him, where he said, this whole thing just becomes a Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm like, kind of did. It kind of leads into that. That's kind of what this whole thing was setting up the next Marvel movie, which, take it or leave it. But overall, I thought the show was good. I was happy about it. I'm really happy, really excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier, though.
Skip, give us the full rundown. How do you feel about WandaVision and how it plays into the greater Marvel universe?
Hold on, you said I was going last. You got to go.
Oh, I got to go. I loved it. I had no complaints. I thought it was great. My only issue was I feel like I was gypped with Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really on a personal level upset me because I was so excited that they were going to be bridging the universes, and it feels like a legitimate troll out of a million actors and billions of human beings out there they could have recast to be that role.
Oh, they picked him?
They choose this one guy who they know was going to set everyone on fire and be excited about the potential of bringing over the Fox universe.
And before we get to Skip, because this ties into it, did you see the theories about how, why am I blanking on her name? Photon. Her real name, I don't remember. Anyway,
Monica Rambeau.
Thank you. Monica was talking about how she has this physicist friend who can do X, Y, and Z or whatever, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's Reed Richards."
Well, see, here's the difference, because I know Skip brought this point up before,
Did he?
and
Okay.
and there's a thing. Headcanon is like running rampant. It's an issue these days.
That's
where
the
your
thing.
headcanon can make you not like a show or be upset when it's something that you self-imposed. But this feels different because this is where it crosses into straight trolling, because they cast the same actor. Like, they could have cast any actor to do this, but they specifically casted this one. And maybe they'll retcon it down the road, and they'll come up with a thing like they pulled him across dimensions. I don't know.
Maybe when they pulled him across dimensions,
you can sell your fucking tweets. Like,
he forgot who he was.
Yeah, it could be anything. Maybe they'll fix it down the road. But the way it is right now, I feel upset because that feels like they were trying to troll me. And you're Marvel, all right? You're not PewDiePie. You don't need to troll me. I give you lots of money. I watch all your fucking movies. I subscribe to your Disney Pluses. Just don't troll me. I feel like I was trolled. That was my thing. Skip, now please answer on your behalf, but then also address my issues and why I don't need to be upset.
Well,
fix
my
me,
friends. I can do that.
I can hear him cracking his knuckles. Well, crack. Pushes up his glasses. Here we go.
Here we go. You ready for this?
I'm ready. You totally agree with me. Oh, he's turning on his webcam.
Oh.
Snooper's gonna snoop.
Why did Marvel troll me, man?
That's it. That's my whole review. That's all I gotta say. I just trolled you. I just subverted your expectations.
Yeah,
there you go.
He's doing exactly what they did to us. He's like getting us all super hyped up for the thing, and then it's like, actually, go fuck yourself. Okay, cool, thanks.
Honestly, I loved it. I loved it. I give it a A- personally. I love that Evan Peters was in there. I wanted him in the MCU, and if this is the way that we're going to get him in, he played his role that they gave him, so I'll take it. I'm not tripping off of all that stuff. We already for the people that do hear the stuff come out, obviously we talk about it enough. Feige said that the X-Men and mutants and all that stuff was 5 years out. He already had his plan set up for this, so he wasn't about to rush it. The whole Wanda thing, that was something I was going to bring up, but Webb beat me to the punch that she never practiced magic. She told that to Agatha. And of course, now she is studying the Darkhold. I believe the Darkhold is probably one of the books that got stolen or that should be in the Library of Kamar-Taj, but isn't in there anymore. Definitely Monica Rambeau was my favorite. Spectrum, that her modern name is Spectrum. Of course, they're probably going to make it Photon because they Easter egged it with Maria Rambeau and her mom in that movie. I'm interested to see how she deals with the beef and the bad feelings that she has towards Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, since she was off, because not because the universe doesn't have Avengers, other planets don't have Avengers, but her mom got cancer, who was her best friend, and they had a small family. It was basically them three, and she wasn't there for her mom as her mom was dying, which also ties into Nick Fury being on the sword ship that was already sword, with the scrolls and everything. So that whole thing tying in, and he wants to talk to you. I'm excited about all that, but overall I really enjoyed it, and I'm not tripping off. Like, that's the thing, Corey, not to let trolls see you sweat. Don't let Kevin Feige see you sweat. Like, what I'm saying, that's how you know that they got you. I do what I do appreciate though is it's funny to me, and it's also endearing that so many people are this invested in Marvel that they're so broken up about it. The last thing I'm going to say is don't confuse your dessert with your dinner. All this theory crafting and this headcanon and all these things that they put in there. Remember, they make these things for normies. We get in these Twitch streams and these YouTube videos and all that. You got to remember, the people that spend the most money on this stuff so we can continue to consume it are normies. They don't get this deep into this stuff. The Easter eggs are for us. Yeah. But the main storyline is for everybody, especially the normies, including the normies. So enjoy the conversations, enjoy the theory that's supposed to be part of it, but that's dessert. Dinner is the show. Don't confuse the two. Make sure you remember what's what. And if you do, then you'll enjoy it even more. If you don't remember and you take a bite of your dinner and you expect it to taste like strawberry cheesecake, don't be pissed at the chef because you got confused on what they made for you. That's all I got to say.
Dang. Can you imagine being a Muggle and having watched the X-Men movies, and then you watch this and you're like, wait,
hang on, that guy?
He was in and being super confused of what's going on.
I would love that actually. The
ignorance.
The ignorance would be so much blissful. Basically, being Kyle. Essentially, he's just being.
That's wrong.
Kyle, what's it like? What's it like to not know anything?
I can be surprised by shit. Like, it's great, dude. Like when they showed him, I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And like
when he said,
if y'all didn't spoil it for me, I would have been like, oh my god, she's a witch. Kyle, okay, this next door neighbor lady, she's bad, but like. I'm like, oh yeah, cool.
When Kyle goes,
that's good for that.
When Kyle said, when they said Scarlet Witch, I'm like, oh wait, should I be clapping? I was dying because that's like a whole thing, because it's true. We've all called her Scarlet Witch because we know that's who she is. That's who Wanda Maximoff is, and I think even her action figures, I think you even say Scarlet Witch on them, but she's never actually said that no one's ever actually called her a Scarlet Witch, and I think that's why we got that scene where the head sword guy is talking to Jimmy Woo and is saying like, oh, she doesn't have any weird name or any crazy name. She's never been. She's Wanda Maximoff. That's it. That's all she's been ever called. And then we get that name. And that name's been trademarked by Fox forever, and now Fox is part of Disney, so we get that now. That's that dessert. I get you, Curtis.
I got you. Spitting facts every week on this show. Everybody should be so lucky to learn and listen from the teacher. So we got some video game news we got to get to too. So I know that was heavy on the WandaVision, and I'm sorry everybody if you're just here for the video games, but man, if you're not watching this WandaVision stuff and you're not going to be watching the Winter Soldier and the Falcon and stuff, like, go listen to another show. Go listen to Before You Log Off or some other show or something, because we're just doing what we want these days. So let's go. I'm going to admit, I've been a little busy, guys. I've been a little busy. And so Kyle the winner, was throwing notes in there like a madman. He's the expert on all the video game news stuff. So I'm going to kick it on over to Winterville, and he's going to hit us with some video game news. What do we got? What's new? Enlighten me.
Kyle's
The
doing
next
news.
one on the list that's a David Webb one, but if you want me to go to the one I actually would know anything moderately about, I can go to that one.
Let's go to it.
Yeah.
All
David
right.
Webb copied and pasted.
Yeah. As if Kyle Wynn did not.
This is Kyle's doing the news, not Webb's doing the news.
No, so one of the big things in particular, so I think we had talked about it a couple weeks back when it was like announced, but now it has officially gone through and we're starting to like get the ripples of what this means. Microsoft bought Bethesda, and with that comes the like 4 or 5 other studios, including id and Arcane and Machine Games, are all moving over to Xbox now. They just threw like, I feel like their entire back catalog of games, minus like a couple, like literally like 20 games, all under the Bethesda umbrella, are now on, I believe, Xbox Game Pass.
What?
Which is cool for Xbox Game Pass people. I believe, unless I'm really tripping, unless I misread that somewhere. As well as like there's now repercussions of this sale for PlayStation people who are like kind of freaking out about what this means for Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 and stuff like that, because we know those are in the pipeline. Those have officially been announced by Bethesda, but now that they're an Xbox studio, there's genuine concern from all the PlayStation camp that they don't get to play the next Elder Scrolls game.
Oh, what is wrong? Capitalism? I'm sorry. You need to suck it up, bitch, and buy an Xbox. Cause that's
Or just play on How are people playing RPGs on a console?
Bro,
you gotta.
Well, you know what? Bethesda, if any company, if you could say what their thing was making RPGs accessible to console
That's
plebes.
true. They were the ones who bridged that gap with like Morrowind in the first place.
Yeah, and VAT system, whatever VATS from the Fallout, that was 100%. They shouldn't have called it VATS. They should have called it so Xbox players cannot feel like total losers.
That was a great pivot too, because VATS was a thing in the original like top-down RPG, and they just made it work for console.
Yeah, it was sick. I was
console aim is a genuine problem.
Hell yeah, I was a mark. I totally went through all those games on the Xbox and before I was enlightened to PC gaming. But yeah, you're right. All the Dishonored 1, 2, every Doom you can imagine, all the Fallouts, Rage 2, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online, The Evil Within, Wolfenstein, all that shit just kind of hit the fan for the Xbox Games Pass, which is still the best deal in gaming. Other than your weekly free games from Epic Games, which I cannot preach enough. Free games on Epic. If you play PC, I know Epic is like the Fortnite launcher. Look past that for a second and get your free games, because I've been playing this game called Ape Escape, and it was one of the free games that I just downloaded for no reason, but then I was going through like, oh, what do I actually own? Ape Escape is fucking brilliant. It's like a $15 game. You're a monkey. It's top down. You're breaking out of a zoo, and it's like got all this crazy jazz music. And every time you kill somebody, it's like a splash symbol. Insane.
I haven't been on the show in a year, and the last time I was on the show, Cory was hyping the Epic Game Store. So
it's free stuff that's super high quality. Like, how could you not be taking advantage of that? But other than that, besides that, the Xbox Games Pass is crazy, and now that they just added all this Bethesda stuff, is really great. And the thing is too, if you pay the little extra, what is it, $5 a month, you can play them on PC as well. Do you have this yet, Kyle, or are you still waiting?
I don't really get into games that way. I think if I played more single player games, I'd totally do that and kind of just go through with whatever's in the Game Pass. But no, I'm very like kind of pick and choosy with games, and so it doesn't really behoove me to do that. But I do agree that like Xbox has always been kind of behind in the console wars. I think every generation they've lost pretty handedly in terms of like one-to-one console sales. But I do think that like the Game Pass, just in terms of value and what they're able to do with how strong their first party, I guess it's second party studio relationships are, and just having exclusive games drop on Gamecast on release. I think that's the one thing that they're definitely winning at. So I gotta give them credit for that.
Oh yeah. What else we got?
We got the one, but we can kind of keep that one
Let's
if we
do
don't want
it.
to.
Let's do it.
All right. So this is one that I'm gonna talk all about, and if you need to say nothing, you can say nothing.
This is all you, man. I will chime in if and when I can, but it's the news. We got to do it. So
For sure.
Let's rip this Band-Aid.
Okay. So one of the most popular players across 2 different games, Sinatraa, has been accused of sexual assault and a myriad of other really not good things. And there's a full giant twitlonger with text evidence, video or audio evidence. Pretty compelling. I'm not going to make the call on whether it's one way or the other way. That's not necessarily my job. It's not for me to say, but generally speaking, you gotta trust the victims in this case. But what is important is what has happened as a result of this is he's getting, massively dropped from everything. Sentinels have put him on suspension. I think they're doing an internal investigation, all that sorts of stuff. Which, I mean, on their Valorant team kind of sucks because now there's like right before the pretty big Masters event, which they got 10s, and it's been working out pretty well for them. So that's been kind of good. At least that they're not getting the rest of the players aren't getting screwed over by this situation.
Yeah.
But as well as he's officially banned from the tournament as well from Riot. His individual sponsors have dropped him, and I think it's one of those things where we're seeing a result of people getting very split on either side of like DeFran's kind of digging himself a hole in some ways, and Harry Hook is coming out of the
that's where I kind of wanted to go too. Like this is not getting any easier as we go on. Like I feel like I've taken a couple of these shots to the heart in the last year that hit close to home. There's incidents with Nairo last year, who was an energy competitor, and then Sinatraa obviously was, the face of our organization for our first 2 seasons. So none of this stuff is ever easy. It's so hard, especially when you have invested relationships with the people, and that's kind of the thing. Like, especially with the energy organization, the players are not just like contracted players necessarily. They feel more like family. So like personally, I don't really have a comment or anything, and the org, we formed a response between, it obviously shook us a lot. It was very personal kind of stuff to deal with, and we put out the best the best response that we felt we could in the time. And it's just tough. And you see kind of what happened with the fallout of the Nairo situation. There was a giant movement on Twitter recently, the restore Nairo's Twitch ability. He went through, an exhaustive legal battle that was settled, and he's ready. He feels and confident, and I think everybody wants him back. Skip, I remember you were one of the first people, I texted her that we were texting back and forth, both being extremely big Nairo fans. Where do you feel, we net out on stuff like that? He came across some massive accusations. It halted his career. His Twitch ban, went live, and then, he fought it through legal channels, and it seems as though he's clear now and can come back. And it seems like there's a huge people who want him back, but there's also a lot of negativity still. I'm just kind of curious, as a Nairo fan yourself, kind of where you sit right now. And if it's too much, you don't even need to answer, bro, because this gets, it gets touchy. It
does. It's tough. Yes, especially one like that. Yeah, he's my favorite Smash player and all that stuff, and got to meet him and all of those things. But that's kind of the thing. Like, there's a few different components to this. There is like the actual legal system itself, which is supposed to its infrastructure, its purpose is to take all the evidence and find out, get to the bottom of it and find out, what we believe to be the truth of the stories that make the most sense. And then kind of go that route. So I always leave that up to them. And then there's, of course, the court of public opinion, and that one's always touchy because people don't like injustice for the most part. So they want to make sure that people in positions of influence and power don't abuse it, which is important because we've seen a lot of that over the history of human existence. And then you have the people themselves that in the tight spots. You got the person that potentially was done wrong, and then the person who's potentially the wrongdoer. And overall, in all situations, with very little exception, I feel we should always want healing to happen overall. The person who allegedly could have been done wrong, we want them to heal because that was a traumatic thing for them. So we want them to heal. The person who potentially did do something wrong, if we find out that they did, we want them to get better as well. Learn that you don't do that. And then, you heal also and become a better person out of it. Because if we just throw everybody away, then all we have is a world of garbage. But if we improve, self-improvement and encourage people to get better, now we now we get closer to a world full of gold. So it's tough, man. In the Nairo situation, from the way that things were shaking out, and the Nairo situation is interesting because some things about, the alleged, victim came out, and things had already happened with a whole nother person where they actually did blackmail another person. So in Nairo's situation, I'm glad that overall he went to counseling and all that stuff and healed. I'm glad that he's in the spot where he can come back and provide, things to people that help people when they're down. So, you're depressed or you're going through this or you're going through that, watching those streams and getting a break from the world that's tough and getting caught up in someone who's giving you pure joy is good. And in the Sinatraa situation is different. I'm not as close to it and tied to it as I am, but we're at the point now where it probably is best for Sinatraa to step out of the limelight, let the process go as it does. It sucks that people have to, if you didn't do anything, if it doesn't come back that you were the person mostly in the wrong, that your career takes a hit. But also at the same time, if there was actual victims that went through things, they need to get their justice and start their healing process too. So right now it's probably best for him to just step back and let the process work out as it should. Maybe opportunity for him to, take a break anyway. He's gaming so much, 2 different games, big person, like, reevaluate your life. And hopefully when you're in that type of situation on both ends, all you can do is hope that when you come out on the other end, you've healed more and you're a better person than when that situation started.
I think one thing in particular that I'm getting from this is this, and I think this is the thing that a lot of people who are in the scene are kind of getting this feeling of like, we're starting to become like traditional sports in a lot of ways, and unfortunately a lot of the negative ways as well, in that we are starting to, and I think even more so because these people are more personalized, because I can watch this person play in a big tournament and, be a huge player, then as well go talk to them at their personal stream, and you feel more connected to this person, but you're still creating a role model out of someone you don't know, and you have a sort of fantasized version of who they are. And so when you find out that they are not that pure person, or not that person that you had thought they were, it can turn really nasty really quickly. And so I think that, like, with that as well is feeding into that ego and feeding into that entitlement. And I mean, the dude was literally like 17, 16 when he became like incredibly famous. And so people were feeding into that ego. So it's one of those things that, like, I don't think very many people are surprised that this is a thing. I think even regardless of the truth or not, I think that that's the thing that, like, we need to look at how we are educating our young players. And if they're not going to, first off, they're not learning this in school well enough. That's a definitive thing. But, like, we need to find ways to help them understand how to not let this influence, how to not take advantage of this influence, and how to, utilize their platform for good and not, abuse their power and stuff like that. So I think that there's a lot of things to be learned from this.
Yeah, I think one thing we learned too is that people are gonna go crazy. DeFran, like you'd kind of mentioned, his tweets. You could definitely tell which side of the fence. He's an old school. Him and Sinatraa came up together through Selfless. Very obviously close together, but he kind of definitely went about things a DeFran way. Like he started going way too far on the other side, where it just kind of was very distasteful and did not help himself in the long run or Sinatraa to that respect. I think it's pretty disappointing. I don't know DeFran. I've never had a conversation with him, so I don't share that same affinity. But I just definitely think that even if that's your friend, or that's your brother, the things he was doing was not helping. Is definitely hurting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I don't want to say too much because again, it hurts. It hurts because I love Sinatraa. We had, I was at his first event where we had a bunch of fans and got to experience that, rush with him of, I don't know.
That was San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
That was wild.
The events in San Francisco and, and just even before that, I really was invested in trying to talk to him, through some of the stuff, and it's just tough for me. I really hope, the best in the long term for him, but this stuff doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. What else we got though? Let's move on. Let's move on to happier things. You got to bring me up. You brought me down, but now you got to bring me back up. What you got for me,
God.
Kyle?
Find some happy stuff. Find some
happy stuff, man. Happy stuff.
Oh God, Curtis, you want to talk 2K stuff? That's usually pretty good. A lot of these other news stories are also kind of down. Like the other two I had are like not that.
Well, I got
cheery.
one real quick because I threw one on there real quick, and it was Roblox going public.
It's a classic.
So Roblox was after me. I'll be completely honest.
Yeah.
I've not played 1 second of Roblox. I can't tell you what it is besides maybe Minecraft
like
Lite.
shitty Minecraft.
Yeah, it looks like a shittier version of Minecraft. It went public, and I bought stock in it. That's the only reason I put this on here.
Did you actually buy
I
Roblox?
legitimately bought a couple shares of this
I might.
only for the memes.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. The stock market is a meme fest. Like, you see this stuff, GameStop is still going up. So my thought was, Dogecoin is still going up. I bought some Roblox just on the off chance that, the Reddit Wall Street
the
bets,
Reddit hive mind decides that this is the next thing we're going to inflate to infinity.
Zoomers are going to hit it and then
go,
just blow it up. So that's it.
Train early.
David, you haven't been on the show for a while, but I know you were tweeting quite a bit about crypto and all the GameStop stuff. What was your take on that? Are you heavily vested now?
No, I'm not anymore. That was what you would call a phase. No, I bought into it pretty hard because I really liked kind of the message that they were sending with the whole, screw Wall Street and kind of, the tactics that were being used by Wall Street and taking them and being used against them. I was really on board with that, and I liked it. I had GameStop stock. I had very little GameStop stock because when I finally caught up with everything that was going on, it was way too pricey to buy. So I bought fractions of GameStop stock because I have the Robinhood app, and so I had that, and then I got Dogecoin. And I rode Dogecoin for a while.
You're already out?
Oh, I'm already out.
Wow. I thought you were Diamond Hands, David Webb.
I was Diamond Hands until nobody else was Diamond Hands. I was like, well, then I'm not going to be Diamond Hands. This is stupid. So I bounced. But yeah, no, it's wild. This new era that we're living in with, Reddit kind of having a pretty heavy hand in the stock market. And what we're seeing, and yeah, it's interesting, and I'm curious to see what you said, like what they blow up next. Roblox could be it. Roblox is crazy. My little 6-year-old nephew plays Roblox, and it's he tries to show me how to play it and like the what it is, and it's weird. It's like Minecraft, but it's like different servers, and each server has a different theme, and like you can play different themes, and like there's like one where it's like a campfire theme, but it's like a haunted campfire, and there's monsters. There's one where you're in a plane crash and you have to try to survive these weird monsters in the forest, and it's bizarre. It's weird, but it's all like Minecraft-ish kind of. It's all Square characters and Square and Lego. Minecraft and Lego mixed. That's Roblox.
Well, I've only lost money off this deal so far. Definitely.
If you're thinking about buying, consider the fact it is $69 right now, and then let that mull over for a minute and then buy, because if you're gonna go in for the memes, you better
buy it at $69.69.
Yep. Yeah, we might get down to $69.69 here. Just hope it sinks a little bit more. Hope Cory gets a little sad. Then we all just cram our money in. That's what we're doing here. Grassroots movement. Video Game Bang podcast is going to single-handedly inflate the stock price of Roblox.
Buy the dips and then diamond hands all the way to the moon, baby.
What did it open at?
Like 70 or something. I got in at 70. I'm looking at it.
It started at $64.50.
$64.50. Okay.
I'm in at 73 bucks.
You bought it at 73. You bought it at peak, and then it's only down.
I bought it at peak, baby. I do the opposite.
You buy at peaks and sell at the dips.
Yeah, buy high, sell low.
Coal hand.
Bro, I did that. I did that with Dogecoin like 3 or 4 times. I was like, look how high it is. Okay, I'm gonna keep it. Oh, look how low. Nope, sell it. Wait, it's going back up. Let me buy again. No. So my Dogecoin went from like 1,500 to like 1,400 to 1,300 because I kept selling at the tips and then buying at the highs.
I have 2 accounts. I have a Fidelity like actual account where I take that stuff very seriously. I invest in
No
smart
Dogecoin.
companies, no Dogecoins, no Roblox. And then I have a Robinhood account that is for the memes, and that's where all my Dogecoins.
Throwing shit away.
Yep, and I bought Roblox with my Dogecoin profits. Like it's just memes feeding memes over there. And
It's a self-feeding. It's like Patty's dollars, right? It's a self-sustaining economy.
Patty's
exactly.
Yeah.
I think we got room for one. Actually, let's what's gonna make me real happy is if we do some Curtis's comic book corner. That's what cheers me up every time.
We still got theme songs. I know I haven't been on for a while, but
it kind of got hard with doing everything remote and using the iPad, so the theme songs are on hold until COVID's over.
We got requests in the chat for a theme song, so I had to
can't
check.
do it. I wish I could.
I'll do one live next episode. I don't give a.
Actually, yeah, maybe we just start doing it live. Curtis blows out the bongos. We get.
I'm not going to pick up the cajon.
David can't be on the cajon anymore.
I can't. I got banned from the cajon.
Lead singer.
That's going to get banned pretty quickly too.
Theme song.
Skip. What do we got on Curtis's comic book corner?
We have a book. So a lot of y'all went through a lot of y'all who have been here for a while went through the House of X and Powers and 10 Krakoa cast that Cory and I was doing. Of course, it went a little past that after that that X-Men event by Jonathan Hickman was over. It spun off into 6 books, the X-Men book, of course, an X-Force book, so on and so forth. One of those books was Fallen Angels by a writer named Brian Edward Hill. Really good writer, not just a writer, also a director and a producer, has worked on some DC content as well. Y'all might have known the show Titans on was it DC Universe or whatever it was.
Now it's on HBO Max.
Now it's on HBO Max. So he had written on some of those, slightly produced some of them, and even directed some of the episodes. So like incredible producer, has worked on other Hollywood feature films as a screenwriter that we've seen. Well, he's back with the interesting book that I was extremely interested in. He's a person who gets into a lot of different things, and he got into synthwave. So of course, groups like Kavinsky, the Midnight, M83 does a little bit of synthwave, like all those types of bands and groups. and he made a synthwave inspired story called Chariot. And you can even see like the old 80s style car, of course, like the protagonist dude with like the conch kind of
Neon
pompadour
girl too.
Yep, Neon Girl as well, and then the OG old school car.
It's out of my hands.
Exactly, and shout out to Minty, who is Lexi. A lot of y'all know. Yes, you said looks like Drive. Drive is one of my favorite movies of all time, and that is where synthwave kind of came back through Drive, through groups like Electric Youth, which I wish I had the vinyl here now. They're one of my favorite groups. Kavinsky was in Drive. He did that song. Like Night Call and all that stuff. So anyway, very inspired by that as someone who works in the film industry as well as comics. And it's really cool. It starts off with like an action-packed scene, this car on this like bridge, like it's curving and turning. You got like chopper, like cars after them, shooting after them. They turn sideways and they flip over the car. So the car is like indestructible. It's taking all the bullets and not taking any damage. And then here comes a helicopter and shoots at the car and takes no damage. And then like the car ends up like, the bridge gets shot out and the car ends up going in there, and inside of it is a woman, and as she's struggling to get out the car, we think that she's getting ready to die, and all of a sudden the car itself glows pink light inside, and then she vanishes. That's it. And then you get to the protagonist. He's like, as it says in the story, like, I'm nobody special. I'm like the average person, just like anybody else in the world. He's got a son who has cancer. He's got an ex-wife who is now dating law enforcement, and he's pretty much known as someone who is a wheelman, but he tried to leave that life behind to have an honest job working at a basically like a junkyard, like a parts yard, and they need money and because the kid is sick and they need to cover the bills. He already owes people that he used to work with money, and and she's like, you're trying to get money, you don't have any and you owe people. And he's like, yeah, well, I'll figure it out. They can't kill me because then they won't get their money. And then from there, he's at the parts yard. Here come the people. Sure enough, trying to run that tab. They start roughing him up. And then one of them pulls out a knife. And right as they do, we find out that he had found that car because it was a parts yard. It was in there and it was the only car that he was working on. And the engine is weird inside. It's got all this pink goo on it. And that car ended up defending him, kind of came alive. And after it dispatched all the people, it was just him there. And I'll pause it right there because that is where y'all need to go out, buy this book and read it.
Knight
and check
Rider.
it out.
Are we getting Knight Rider?
Christine meets Knight Rider. What is this? What is happening?
I loved that show when I was growing up. Now I'll say this too. Here's what's dope. I hit up Hill because we talk, you know what I'm saying?
Your homies,
like
yeah.
that.
I know you get it. Don't name drop on us. Yeah, we know you're cool. We know you hang out with fancy comic book people.
Nah, I was just kidding. Like, but I do chat with him on Twitter. Like he helped kind of as a consultant for one of the books that I'm currently writing right now.
Can't wait.
So he's super cool dude. But anyway, he posted on there. He's like, now that the book's out, I could go ahead and be honest with y'all. The car is actually inspired by my old 8 Series Beamer that I've been restoring over and over again. So he took some pictures of like his 8 Series Beamer, and that's when I hit him up. I was like, bro, Knight Rider vibes, what's good? So it was pretty cool that like he's that invested in it. It really is something that he's passionate about, and he took some real life inspiration to put into the story. But highly advise everybody to go check it out. If you're like, is it on Marvel? Is it on DC? Is it on Image? It is on a newer publisher called AWA Upshot. AWA, check it out. Actually, another friend of mine, Ramon Villalobos, who will be on the show eventually. He worked for Marvel and does some stuff for DC. He's putting out a book. He's doing some art on a book there too. But Artists, Writers, and Artisans Upshot, AWA Upshot. Hit your comic book store up, grab it. If you need to, go on Comixology. If you have an Amazon account, your Comixology membership is reduced. I think it's only like $6.
Damn.
Or $5, which is like the price of a comic anyway. Like one DC comic can get you able to, stream all these comics, and then just add yourself on there, put it on your list, and it'll automatically just show up every time it drops, and you can read along with us, because this won't be the last time we talk about this book here on Video Game Bang and Curtis's Comic Book Corner.
And while we're on our way out this week, Skip, where can people learn more about the comics you're reading and the content you are creating outside of the VGB verse?
Yeah, you can I streamed again.
Nice.
Interesting. You can catch me on twitch.tv/SKIPNTOSH. It's Skip and Tosh, basically. Yeah, come check me out. I'm also on Thinking Critical channel, YouTube from time to time with my man West, and bi-weekly on my buddy Ash on Comics. So Ash on Comics, a lot of sheep in the chat. Be up in there.
I don't know how Skip does all this stuff, man. He is part of so many projects, and then he plays the bongos. Like, what the fuck, dude?
I play the bongos
How
too.
does one
Yeah,
guy
but-
do everything?
I don't know. I don't sleep, I guess.
Speaking of this, David Webb, man, you just started a business. I'm sure you got some stuff to plug. What's been going on with you, man?
So I accidentally started a business. So you can find accidentally, yeah, you can find my my business. It's Sagebrush Supply Company. You could find them on Twitter, or find me, I guess them. Find me on Twitter.
Yeah, isn't it, are you like the sole proprietor?
Yeah, but if I say them, it makes it sound like I'm bigger than I actually am.
I'm mad at it.
Sagebrush Supply, Sagebrush SPLY on Instagram. You can follow me there. I post behind the scenes of me making stuff. It's basically a home decor company, so I make stuff for your house.
Yeah, since you've been away, you've started like crafting things from the elements.
Yeah,
Pretty interesting.
I'm basically an airbender now.
Yeah, interesting. It's good stuff, man. Your towels, towel racks, and like signs for your house and stuff. It's like very manly. I was, not that I never thought you were manly, but it's just more like I didn't know you were like a make shit out of wood man.
Oh yeah,
stuff,
I just make shit out of nothing now.
Incredible.
With my hands.
And then Kyle the Winner, man, what you plugging?
Follow me on Twitter, man. I got again, dude. I'm just like always. I have stuff that is in limbo, and I'm just waiting for more stuff to happen and talk about more stuff. So
tons of stuff going on.
Lots of possibilities. Lots of different things could be working. I could be moving. Could be doing whatever. Who knows?
What I love about Kyle is he's kind of like a dude who just spawned. It seems like he doesn't know much, and then you just kind of learn a bunch with him. Like this whole top records thing. I love that thread. I go through it because it always pops up to the top of my feed, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what Kyle thinks about the Beatles. Since he just spawned out of thin air like 6 months ago.
Yeah, you remember the show Kyle XY? I am the same dude. I was created in a laboratory. I don't know the plot of that show. I just know people call me that in high school.
I have fun just watching Kyle discover stuff. It's kind of
one
of my new favorite things.
I thought I was like aware of the world, and it's like I guess that's the thing the more you learn, the more you know how much you don't know.
Student of the game.
Just keep going.
I introduced you to Curtis, and then he opened your eyes. He opened your third eye. Is what happened. That's what Skip does to you.
Like Twilight Zone out here.
I, on the other hand, have not much going on publicly, but you can follow me at What's Up Pizzas across Instagram or Twitter and all that stuff, just to kind of see, maybe get a glimpse. If you want to get a good eye of what's going on behind these cold eyes, you'll just have to claw your way through this disguise. But for David Webb, Kyle the Winner, my name is Cory, Skip and Tosh, peace.